Hi, I'm Estrin-Haire, and I'm running for Duluth City Council at large. Turnout in Duluth elections is almost always depressingly low. It produces a slate of candidates chosen by just a handful of the thousands of people who live in the city. In Duluth, in the 2021 primary, just less than 7,000 voters cast ballots to decide who would be on the general election ballot. In the general election, just over 13,000 voters decided who would form the city council. In 2019, the mayoral race was won with 64% of the vote, but that only represented 15% of the population of Duluth. Lackluster primary turnout hampers competition, emboldens donors and special interest groups that include political clubs, the real estate industry, developers, and NIMBYs. Not in my backyard. The low turnout may help explain why the actions of elected officials in the city are sometimes bizarrely out of step with the needs of the majority of the constituents they serve. City lawmakers failed to produce a single meaningful piece of legislation on housing this year, even though the housing crisis is clearly the most urgent issue facing Duluth. The limited competition also tends to encourage bad behavior among politicians. That's probably one reason the majority of the city council felt comfortable overriding the planning commission and proceeded to greenlight a developer who wants to put a hotel on the wetlands next to Kohl's without an impact study. What we have is a government that is walled off from the concerns of the people. I am not a politician. I have no political ambitions. But in my day-to-day routines and on speaking with other residents, conversations often concentrate on what's wrong with the city. I've gone door to door, walked neighborhoods, and talked to countless citizens who have real, genuine concerns for Duluth. Many neighborhood streets are riddled with potholes so deep it looks like the surface of the moon. The city insists they will get to those side streets, but that they are not the priority. Some of these streets were not patched last year either. So the problem is even worse. Residents on these streets pay the same taxes as the people on priority streets, yet in this case they are not represented. Our pothole problem has been deemed the worst of the worst, yet we continue to go with status quo on every pave and every patch. Bituminous is notorious for winter heaving and breaking. Rubberized asphalt using old tires is an ecological and sane choice for quieter roads that hold better and patch easier. Airbnb tenants are not neighbors. Many neighborhoods are subject to loud party noise and parking disruptions from short-term rentals. Permits were issued without the consent or notification of the year-round residents. Some areas have been completely taken over by short-term rentals, which displaces residents and contributes to a housing crisis that cannot be solved by a government that caters solely to tourism while continually ignoring the needs of the constituents. Our homeless population increases annually. The percentage of people living in poverty has grown to 25%, but short-term rental permits in many areas of town are limitless. Property management companies are holding hundreds of homes that are not available for local families to live in, but are of the exclusive use of tourists. As a result, not only is it nearly impossible to find a home to purchase at a reasonable price, but rents are skyrocketing and the cost of living far exceeds the city's minimum wage. The city acknowledges that this is a problem but does not lift a finger to do anything about it. Their answer to the problem is a $195,000 tiny house project that they approved and which is being offered for sale as a turnkey short-term rental property. That's just rubbing salt into a wound. Our downtown is dying. Our city tells the Chamber of Commerce that they have a plan. I'm not sure what they're waiting for. Businesses are shuttering regularly. The snarled maze of roadblocks every year does nothing but delay the inevitable. We need an accessible, thriving downtown that attracts tourists and residents alike and welcomes new business. There are many ways to accomplish this, and lip service is not one of them. With more people working remotely, office spaces can be converted to homes. Walkability can be improved in several ways, and the current parking issues aren't as complicated as they seem. It's just something the city does not find glamorous enough to work on. This is evidenced by the focus on a large mural which, for some reason, is supposed to help downtown thrive. Duluth is being led by people who will only show you the shiny side of the coin. They aren't going to tell us if we look fat in these jeans or if our house is falling apart. A good friend is honest and tells us the truth, then gets dirty and helps us fix the problem. Duluth needs a friend. Thank you.